Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Music Matters Net podcast. I'm your host, Brian. Joining me today is a special guest hailing from Alabama, Bobby Duhon Jr. How you doing, brother?
Pretty good. How you doing, man?
Not too bad. How you doing? And I guess
Not
what's
bad.
new recently?
Just taking a short little break the month of November in between gigs to get our stuff together.
I see. And recently I reached out to Johnny Brooks, and he's actually a drummer in the band, right, for St. Victus?
Yes, he is.
Johnny, he was a good man. And I don't know if you saw the interview, but actually he was doing it out of his truck, I assumed it was, or van or whatever. But I think he was outside either a Target, Walmart, probably a Waffle House too. I'm not too sure. It was one of those things too. So,
Yeah, that sounds like Johnny.
but it was because, well, his internet connection was, I'm sorry to say it, Johnny, but it was absolute crap because I guess he doesn't get good Wi-Fi out there. And so I guess that's why he does his drum covers with an iRig. So,
That is how we communicate with John.
but good guy nonetheless. It was very good too. And strongly recommend you check it out too. But I guess, how'd you and Johnny meet?
Put an ad out for a drummer with another band years ago, and went through a couple. And when we met John, it was amazed by his ability to be accurate and stay on time. That was a big thing. And I mean, he clicked with us right off the bat. So it was like found a brother and a musician at the same time.
That's very good to hear. All right. So a big shout out to Johnny nonetheless. Good to see you guys are still rocking and everything too. But Bobby, welcome to my podcast right here. The way this is going to work is just going to ask you some questions, get to know you more both as the musician, but also as the individual too. So you get to elaborate more on St. Victus, and I guess you already been on Trial by Fire since that was the one you sent to me to check out on Spotify too. So you can elaborate on that as we go through. So ready?
All right.
All right. We'll start with the first one right here, I guess. Let's talk about you specifically, I guess. Who are you? How did you become a musician?
Oh, kind of in my genes a little bit. Growing up, grandparents had pianos. All my aunts would take turns sitting at it. And I want to say National Lampoon's Vacation, when he's running to Wally World, I remember hearing Chariots of Fire playing as he's running to the Bionic Man little sound effects. And I sat at the piano and I had it picked out in about 30 seconds. And it kind of freaked my grandmother out. And ever since then, I've had the uncanny ability to maybe not be a master of any instrument, but at least, be versed in it enough to pick up little pieces of everything I've heard over the years. And it evolved through high school into, saxophone. We play some drums. And just ever since then, just playing guitar with friends. Grew up with one of the band members, man. We've been together since we were in 8th grade. So it goes back 30 years now, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, time flies, and that's all good. You feeling okay?
Oh, no, yeah.
I'll say he's not getting emotional right now, or thinking back at all the happy times too, I guess. Do you guys go to the same school together and kind of just jam out every now and again?
Oh, man, we would, his mom would go, she would go casinos, do some gambling. And for the most part, while we were sitting at his house, not getting into much trouble, just playing music, the sidewalks would line up while we were young. And just the amount of people that would come up and that, can we come in? Can we watch you guys? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Made a lot of friends that way. But yeah, that's kind of how we grew up, was just playing in front of people. It was always about the people.
So you guys quickly became like the cool kids in school, playing instruments and all that stuff.
For the nerdy ones, maybe we were cool. Maybe we were just slightly cooler than most of the other nerds.
I guess what about the high school jocks, so-called football stars and everything? They always pick on you guys.
I got along with most of them for the most part. They were, you'd be surprised how many musicians would play on the football team where I come from.
That's good to hear, yeah. All right, and I guess let's go ahead and talk about, Trial by Fire first, and then I guess if you want to lead to St. Victus afterwards, go ahead.
All right. So what do you want to know, how we came up
with
that one?
I guess start Trial by Fire. Let's do a beginning, middle, and end, and then do the same thing with St. Victus.
All right. So with Trial by Fire, that one was really, we've done a lot of recording, and it's always been one person has the idea, it gets laid down, everybody adds to it. With that one, we did something different for the first time in that everybody had something that they wanted to bring to a specific song, whether it would gel or not. And while we had about, I don't know, 5 or 6 ideas coming in, we settled on just 2 or 3 of them, and then really gelled on it as we recorded it. And there was no, as far as like a riff would go, I would know how I wanted to play a riff, but where I would do it, that kind of came, after watching how the bass player would lay his groove over John. So really a lot of my key that I chose, that was really not me. That was our bass player. That was Steve. But it was all really just a series of ideas that everybody wanted to bring in a style that we wanted to bring it. As far as channeling your influences, say, I'm a big Tool fan. You could probably hear some Tool in it. Jason is a huge Megadeth, and I can't even think of all of them now. Lamb of God, but you'll hear some of that in the drumming and whatnot. But that's really how we started into it, and we kind of left Jason to his own for his solos because that's a real creative thing for him. Sometimes we get involved, sometimes we this one we really just kind of let him sit back and feel through it how he wanted. But that would be that would be about how we came into it, as best as I could answer that part of it.
That's all good. I guess it's still kind of the same thing with like St. Victus. Was that kind of like covering both bands as well?
Well, you want to know how we got that? The name and everything and the feel of it, we had a real intention of being kind of incognito, maybe not overt with masks or whatever, but really some kind of level of mystery and incognito-ness, I guess you could say. But it's kind of hard to pull off down here and it not be cheesy and still be able to make money in places that might not be their niche. That's really, it's not a fancy story. From my point of view, that's kind of how we came to it. We've been playing forever, though. Million different names, different people in the band, different genres. It's been crazy. It's been a wild ride, man.
Yeah, I can imagine too. I think when I was talking about some things in my previous interviews, I was always saying like how music is pretty much an essential thing to have in society, but it's the hardest thing to do because, as you said, it's not good pay, to be honest, too. I mean, you're probably struggling trying to get pennies a day just trying to make your music on Spotify. I guess, what sort of social media are you guys on?
Yeah, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble. So you actually had the honor of interviewing today the most introverted member of the band. So some of these, I don't know, some of the social media platforms I kind of shy away from because it's I try not to get too into stuck reading the loop on the screen, if you follow me. It kind of gets annoying to me. But that being said, as far as St. Victus, we're just now starting out putting music out. So Spotify is the first place that we've dropped anything so far.
I see. I can say what you mean with social media too. In fact, I think Twitter's a lot worse, or X nowadays, whatever they're calling it too. So I can say what you mean. So it's probably a good thing too. At the same time, it's one of those things like you definitely need. So originally, it was actually supposed to be Jason. Was Jason the most extroverted of the group?
Yes, he is the most extroverted. Yes, he is.
That's why he decided to put it on you, because he was busy going out and doing stuff. That's all good.
Well, and it's good for everybody to get different people. It's not always a I have been a lot more outgoing and everything lately. So you've caught me at a really good time.
That's good. It also is keeping the kids busy too with Xbox or whatnot as well. So
yeah, yeah, they're in there. I got my oldest. She said, "I'll watch them, Daddy." And I poked my head out there just a second ago. They had a fort going. So when we're all wrapped up here, we're gonna go play some Legos in the fort.
I see. I go to Legos. Boy, I remember collecting those way back in the day. I drove my parents crazy, just taking them apart afterwards, just trying to like reconfigure them into this like crazy sets every now and again too.
The sideways Lego in the dark when Dad's sneaking around. That was always how I got found out.
Either that or you're just stepping on one late at night. It's almost like you stepped on a landmine too. So
Yep.
I gotta say too. But fortunately, I haven't got to that point yet. But I know my parents definitely struggled with it because I just leave my Legos like laid out all over the floor. So
Yeah. I had some kind of organization, but they would not have been organized by anybody else's standards. That's for sure.
close enough. I mean, just get some bins, just throw them in there, and just call it a day. That's pretty much what we did. So
Yep.
yeah. So you did talk about influence a little bit, I guess. Who would you say has been your biggest influence in terms of like, because you're a rhythm guitarist, right? Are you the rhythm guitarist, or you guys take turns between solos?
I do very little soloing, mainly rhythm. That's my stick. That's comfortable. I like being the guy everybody recognizes as the root, I suppose.
Lay down the groove and everything too. So Johnny lays down the beat and everything first, and then who'd you say your bass player was?
Steve Gibson.
Steve Gibson.
Or he would rather us call him Strings Gibson.
Or if we wanted to do Stevie Wonder too, I mean, we'd probably get away with it if you wanted
to. Yeah, maybe. We'd have to throw some kind of vanilla joke in there, I suppose.
Like I said, do you guys all try to use nicknames whenever you go on stage or anything like that?
No, I'll stick to mine. Jason's got a couple handles. I'm not going to give them all away here. I'll let him do it where he feels. But yeah, we've got a few names. You'll find me everywhere. You'll find me. My name's the same though.
Bobby. All right. Sounds good. All right. So I guess what is it you loved most about music too? Was it a way to get you out of your comfort zone?
A little bit of that. There's a lot of calming of the mind. I'm really overactive in my own head. And when I play music, whether it's in front of people or by myself, there's a lot of relaxation from it. Growing up, I hear the fan, I hear the air conditioning blowing, I hear the computer going, I hear the car outside, I hear that plane flying over. And it's hard to, growing up, disassociate from all of it. But music, that would bring your mind, this is all that there is in the moment. So that's how it's kind of been for me my whole life.
I see, yeah. So that's sort of a therapy in a way too. It's always the way we come around to it as well.
Definitely. The need to play in front of people and see a reaction that you can invoke through your music, that's always been very satisfying for me. So
in a way, the audience became your psychiatrist in a way.
You got it. Yes.
That's pretty cool. Actually, I was talking with...
As I am, I still crave that just as much as any musician.
Oh, really? I see. Actually, I was talking with Michael Bate last week, too, I guess. Have you guys been part of the Band Together group for a while?
Explain.
On Facebook, well, I don't know if Jason mentioned it. I'm assuming he does the social media, but on Facebook, there's a group called Band Together that Fox and Sticks or Christina and Greg had put together. That's where all the indie bands sort of come together just to kind of chat and support each other, too, I guess. You guys are part of it?
As far as I know, I'm not the one to ask that one, though.
I see, too. Anyway, one of the indie musicians I had interviewed last week, his name is Michael Bate. Go check him out, by the way, and shout out to Michael, by the way. But he talks about how music is my therapy, that sort of thing, too. I think he actually put on a little merch shirt he had made as well. So
I'm going to have to check it out.
Yep. Definitely helps out, too. So I guess you can go ahead. Talk about the gear a little bit, too, I guess. What do you use specifically?
So I've kind of evolved over the years, but I've settled into Fender. I like the classics a lot lately. I have a knack for building them as well. Jason does too. Years ago, we worked for a certain plant. I won't say. We built a certain famous musician's guitars, who I won't mention. But I've got my own Fenders. I got a 2016 standard USA Strat. Then I've got two that I've put together, one Strat, one Les Paul. But those are just the ones that I've built.
I guess
as far as I got my favorite amp right now. I've got all 1990s PV Classic 50 212.
I see it too. And I guess, do you use any sort of pedals to kind of add to any sounds or wah-wah effects?
It depends. If I'm playing on stage lately, we're playing through most of our Boss. So I've got the Boss GX100, which is kind of this really good amp modeling with the touch screen. That being said, it's just let me mimic things that I've liked. But I'm using that on stage, so it's got a full array of wahs and everything. My pedal board for my amp, yeah, I've definitely got wahs and some good treats on there.
It's so badass. Actually, how do you guys do your music too? Is one of you guys put it all together, or do you guys try to go into a studio?
So we actually built the studio. It's actually our practice spot / studio. There's a bunch of stuff that goes on in there. There's some video editing and whatnot that goes on in there as well. But yeah, practice. If we get a hair to record something, we can do it right there on the spot with the board. We have a nice PreSonus that Studio Live 32, I believe. It'll record you live at the gig, your practice. If you have a wild hair up your tail end to record a riff real quick in between band taking a break, you can do that as well.
He's trying to refrain from using any swear words. That's good, actually.
Oh, I am so sorry if I did. I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good. It's freedom of speech anyway.
Oh, man.
It's an adult sort of thing too, so you're all good. But we knew what you were talking about too. So you gave the clean version nonetheless, so that's all good.
Oh,
actually, yeah, you're good. But I guess this one kind of goes into a serious moment here. But I guess, how bad did COVID impact you guys? They kind of, I guess, how strict was Alabama in particular?
I didn't see a whole lot of sick people down here. And when COVID actually hit, we were on another project. Jay Daniels with Jason as a frontman, doing some different genres of music up in Nashville. And it kind of, COVID threw the screws to that real bad. We went from playing one place to something else just as nice, and it would have been better that COVID not hit and messed it all up. But as far as down here, I caught it. I know about 4 or 5 other people that I know that got it, and that was really about it. It didn't affect me much in that I also do marble and granite for a living on the side. Well, that's my actual main job. And, wearing a mask. Some people, they want you in the full Tyvek medical suit to come and measure for their stones. It had its fingers in society down here all over the place, but I don't really feel too affected from it, I guess, per se.
I guess it was a little bit easier because since we're pretty introverted too, I guess it was easy just to stay inside the house on some days. And it's just funny when you mentioned about Nashville too, because that was actually how I got COVID for the first time. And I always like telling the story too, but we had been traveling a little bit too, but this is finally one time we started traveling without wearing masks all over the place from here to there. And when we went to Broadway on Nashville there, just bar hopping and all that stuff. Of course, when you come back, you end up getting sick when you come back home. So,
yep.
So me and my dad had a little rough for about a week there, but it went away. It was just felt like a real bad cold, really. But they give you like these Paxlovid little medication that kind of meant to help you out. It's not really meant to cure it or anything too. Nasty stuff, actually. So
help you feel how you deal with it.
Yeah, it's at least just say like, hey, there's just something at least, or maybe it just tells your immune system like, hey, this thing's meant to help out. Maybe it helps fight it. So I don't know, but nonetheless, here we are, and it's good to have you along for the journey too. So
I will say my experience with it, it wasn't the worst sickness I ever had personally, but it was the most painful body aches and painful fever I've ever had. That's for sure. There was, a good solid day for me of that. And then, I was over it and took the rest of my time home from work and went about life.
Yeah, the fever. It even happened too when I got like the COVID booster as well. I mean, guy woke up with just a little bit of fever just for a little bit too, but I just right over put my sweatpants on, and just got under the blankets and everything just to create friction. So, I mean, in worst case scenario, just do that. Otherwise, just go hop in and take a hot shower for just a little bit too. See if that helps.
Oh, yeah, I rolled the old pants. I actually put on shorts, went out and sat in the sun, and got a lot of relief that way. Just sat out there. I was reading a book. I was like, I feel like crap, but this is great. Needed this therapy.
Actually, no, I was trying to think of the Smash Mouth song, but that's "Walking on the Sun" too, or something like that. And recipes to the singer from Smash Mouth too, who had passed away recently. So, but it's good to see you guys are doing well too. So, and good to see you guys are also making music. Johnny, make sure you guys get back together soon. These guys need to start making some more. So, but I guess speaking of which, do you have any hands, or do you guys help out together, like trying to create songs together? Like, do you write certain lyrics for certain songs?
And band members, a lot of the so most of the lyrics are actually Jason, and he has something he has to say, and we might add or twist or kind of point it in a direction, but a lot of the lyric, that's Jason has something to say, and that's how he's going to get it out.
It's kind of based on like his real life experiences for his lyrical content.
Maybe not his experiences. A lot of times, a lot of these songs I can tell you are maybe an experience he had as watching something, and he is just describing it in his songs. Maybe he actually went through this. Maybe it's a nightmare he had. I will leave it to him to tell you which. But that much I do know about him from, being a brother to him for the past 30 years.
That's very good. Yeah, it's good to have those types of friends. You kept around since, I guess, elementary school too. Was that when you guys first met?
Yeah. 8th grade, 9th grade.
Middle school. That would be middle school in our cases. All right. That's all good to hear. But I guess let's talk about the music a little bit. I guess first off, how would you describe the genre? And I guess what's your favorite song that you guys produced so far?
Well, the only one we have actually only released the one, and we've recorded some other things. My favorite parts. And that's a tough one. My favorite thing is, I don't know if this answers your question perfectly or not, but my favorite thing that we've been doing, watching John lay his drums down. It's kind of the way he'll follow me or write a part has made it fun for me again. And I put it that way. I don't know if that's the exact answer you were looking for, but that's.
I think it was more of like a song in general, I guess. Was there a song that you kind of felt proud of that you made, that you contributed to a good bit?
Definitely Trial by Fire. The way Jason's got the guitars mixed, you can kind of hear both of us through panned left and right if you know what you're listening for. And even after we recorded it, he is still kind of curious as to how I played my riff, which was kind of flattering because I've always thought of him as being the better musician. But Trial by Fire, yeah, I kind of like what I did on that one. John kind of helped me along.
Yeah, Johnny's been a big help. And at times I did see him post stuff on Facebook too, and looked like he had his own little struggles going on at times. And I guess this kind of leads into this question right here too. But I guess first off, would you guys consider yourself still indie musicians, or you think you're past that stage?
I've never tried to classify us in any way, but you know, yeah, I would still say, still a little in. Yeah, I still feel we're there. I don't think we've passed anything yet. I don't really hold ourselves to a we're this or that type band, especially the way we write. Well, we're so diverse in what we like and what we bring and what we'll create on the tail end. And I could go on and on about a ton of songs from other projects. But as far as St. Victus, there's just this one. So maybe here very soon you'll get to see some more of the different paths that we all input into our music.
I see. I guess the main question was, I guess, what challenges have you guys faced being musicians in general, I guess?
Getting your name out there enough that people will repetitiously come out. It seems a lot of the places that you play down here, they really, if they like you, they have you back so often that's kind of your thing. And then being able to, at least lately with Cottage Records and everybody, I mean, Jeff's been a huge help. Just being able to spread out and get out past our local, pit of solitude as far as trying to get your name out. But, spreading out, and that's it. Getting your name out there really with the limited funds that you have. That's at least for us, that's one of the things I've noticed. And then when you actually do get the gig, getting there ain't cheap. All of our equipment and stuff, it's backbreaking. So there's a lot of physicality too. It's multifaceted, but definitely the hardest part that I've noticed is just getting your name in people's mouths where they'll repeat it and ask about it.
Most of the people I have interviewed, they always would say something like that too. But I guess a lot of the indie musicians that I have interviewed, they've been like working multiple jobs, for instance, where it's like one or two, for instance. Would you say that's also another factor as well?
Definitely. My job will have me, I'm on the road every day about anywhere from 3 to 6 hours on top of what I do when I get there and the places I go. It's been tough to stay motivated when you get home and, remember to go push this video, share this, share, spam this, go, the practice. I don't really need much. I don't need a crack of the whip for that one, but I do need to be told, turn off everything, take a break, and then become this, I don't know, private, your own PR person for a little bit. That's always been weird to me because I'm so introverted. So it's even hard to describe.
Yeah, I know what you mean too. In fact, that's the reason why I started this podcast too, because I was pretty introverted as well. I had a real bad stint in sales, and I just realized that wasn't for me. So, but doing this, especially talking like this too, it really helps out too. So it's good to have you on, mate.
Thank you.
And I guess, do you guys just stick in around Alabama? I guess, actually, which part of Alabama are you in first?
As far south as you can go, man. Basically Mobile, Alabama, but between us, we're all spread out by about 2 hours. Some of us live closer. Some of the band were 2 hours away. So, but yeah, Mobile, Alabama, as far south as you can get. In Alabama, I should say.
The little tip that's just stretching out, keeping Florida from touching Mississippi, then I guess. So.
That's it. Yep. Actually, it seems more like a little piece of Alabama and Mississippi are keeping Louisiana and Florida from touching.
Good point.
A little bitty foot down there in the Gulf.
The good old boot just trying to kick Florida in the ass or something like that too. So
that's right.
That's all good. Actually, how is Mobile, Alabama? I actually never been there.
Rainiest city in the States. As far as I know, it's either us or Seattle every year for the wettest city in the country. Other than that, the hurricanes, they're one thing. The culture, the food, I don't know that I could leave. I'll put it that way. But yeah, grew up saltwater fishing, playing music, hanging out in the woods, stuff like that. If that's your thing, man, come on down.
That sounds good. Actually, is there years where it's pretty dry, or is it on and off with the rain?
It's on and off. It seems like come around April when you're expecting April showers. If we get them for about a month or two. And then this past year, it's been a really dry summer. Normally, it's rather wet and muggy down here. But, the temperature, I don't mind it. The rain, it hasn't been bad this year. There has been some kind of drought going on, but usually it's really wet here.
I see. So try to at least catch it when it's dry so that you're able to go out and explore Mobile a little bit better.
Fall.
Or at least have it overnight.
So, fall, great. I love it in the fall here.
Is that when it's pretty dry?
Right now for me, yeah. Yeah, not too wet, not too dry. It's not too hot, not too cold. Good campfire weather, but still you're not freezing.
Bring a little guitar around the campfire too. Just start singing hymns or all that stuff.
We do it, and have done it.
Yeah. Actually, I do remember because my cousin actually has a house in Georgia, and she's got that little fire pit around. We used to do the hot dogs and also the marshmallows and s'mores and everything too. You guys do that as well?
Oh yeah. Yeah, more than that, they'll throw steaks on the fire. They'll have the fire going in the grill and another fire. But yeah, s'mores. In fact, we'll be doing that later on with the kids. They just don't know it yet.
Little surprise for the kids.
That's right.
All right, mum's the word. All right, that's all good. Jumping into the next question right here, I guess. What advice would you give to other musicians who are perhaps, if you want us to say like musicians who are perhaps introverted, kind of like what you're going through, as well as struggling musicians in general?
Keep extroverted friends.
One thing.
Yeah, just I don't know. From my point of view, I'd say just remember it's not all bad. Especially, I would say if you're an introverted musician, you're a musician for one reason, that's to get joy out of playing. And if you're the type to enjoy playing in front of people, make sure you've got an extroverted band member or two to pick up your slack. And they'll let you shine and buckle down. It seems like if somebody has to put on a show and it can't be me, at least I can be on point with my playing enough that they don't have to worry about, is the part going to carry through, things like that. Keep extroverted bandmates as friends.
They help you stand out too. Yeah, I guess I can see that. Oh well, that's pretty sweet. And I do have to ask, do you know the band Down by any chance?
I do not. Can you elaborate?
It's one of those metal groups, actually. It was a side project that Phil Anselmo from Pantera had actually formed with Kirk Weinstein, Pepper Keenan, Jimmy Bauer, and shoot, I think it was Jimmy. I think his name was Jimmy.
I know the people you're talking about. I dig the music you're talking about. I did not know Phil had another project named Down.
He's been on and off with it from time to time. I think they have done like 4 albums like all together too.
And me and Jason were talking about it the other day, and that might have been the reason that Jason was telling me he still got it. He's still on point with his vocals.
He's talking about Phil, yeah. But I guess, what do you make of the whole thing with him like reforming Pantera with Zakk Wylde and Charlie Benante?
I don't have any ill opinions toward anybody that would want to do that. as long as it's done in a respectful way and not, somebody attempting to play Dimebag's riffs and a mediocre attempt. But good musicians, if you're just wanting to play the old music, I don't have a problem with all that stuff. Not at all.
Yeah, I don't know about mimicking. I think Zach's probably a little outside of Zach's wheelhouse, to be honest, too.
He does have his own flavor he adds to everything, and I have heard a video or two. I won't say that I remember them specifically, but I do know that what he was doing with that Pantera thing was incredibly Zach Wild. As far as his bends and tone, you can't get around the fingers.
I actually remember seeing him in an interview, and I think it was Loudwire. I think it was talking about how he originally was in Ozzy Osbourne, and he went off and did his own thing there for a little bit, and he came back to Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy wanted to kick him out because he was like, the riffs sound too much like Zach Wild, or I guess whatever his band was, Black Label Society.
That's the one.
Yeah. It sounds like Black Label Society. Black Label Society sucks. You need to go. That sort of thing, too. That's kind of how he summed it up. I think, like, boy, that would be a dick thing to do right there, to be honest. So,
yep.
Actually, the reason I brought it down was because, I can actually see it. You can actually get away with looking like a guy from Down, to be honest. Probably, I don't know how Pepper Keenan's looked recently. I do see a little bit of Kirk Weinstein, too.
Pepper Keegan, you talking about Corrosion of Conformity now? That's some old stuff.
Yeah. Actually, he and Kirk, man. You listen to the Noel album, that album kicks some major ass.
Yes.
The worst thing is, I maybe see like some posts. It was just like talk about like each one of the songs from like that album. They're saying like we didn't know what the hell we were doing. We just threw some stuff together and apparently it worked. So it's amazing what music can do. So good. All right. So Bobby, we reached for the percussion is pretty good. I guess we'll go ahead and jump to some fun ones here. I guess we'll see what else we can come up with along the way. But ready for some fun ones?
All right.
All right. So we'll start with the first one right here. What is currently your favorite food?
Currently steak. Just had really good steak. I'm still craving it.
I guess, was it a Texas Longhorn or was it just one of your big ribeyes you made on the grill?
Believe it or not, we're playing a benefit here on the 8th, and they invited us for steak, and we came out, and that was one of the better steaks I've had in a long time. So that's what did it. Playing music, man.
Yeah, like we said, music takes you wonder. Music does wonders in the world. There we go. Want to make sure it sounded right.
Good steak, apparently.
Actually, what sort of one was it? Was it a ribeye or a strip?
So that's the tough part. More, I want to say ribeye, but there's no bone. And my partner, he was kind of confused. It was a ribeye-looking New York strip. Still, tastes like ribeye to me.
Well, I'd say ribeyes are fatty too, so there's a good amount of fat in them too. Then
why they're so juicy.
Yeah, and juicy too.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I never understood the tomahawks, to be honest. The tomahawk steak ones, the one with the big bones sticking out.
Yeah, and bone adds flavor, but I'm not that particular. Good steak's good steak.
Yeah, it's nice low protein too. Actually, do you dip it in any sauce? I do have to ask.
The sauce? No. Butter, salt, pepper.
I'm sorry to say it, but I'm guilty. I put ranch on it at times, so I'm sorry.
I can put A1 on it. I'm not going to lie. I grew up doing that as a kid, but as a kid, you're fed steaks, and your parents are like, oh, these are so good. They're so tender. And the steak that I'm eating is not tender. That's not the word I would have used. And it was really chewy and hard, and I put A1 on it. And I just found out, as I got older that Mom and Dad had the good steaks, and we had the sirloin. That's why I couldn't chew it. So I grew up thinking tender meant tough. Other than that, no, I wouldn't reach for the A1, but I have been known to time to time.
Look at the pleasure. And then afterwards, you're like, what the hell, Mom and Dad? That sort of thing.
Yep. I don't blame them, though. I've been there.
Yeah.
I understand now.
Fair enough, yeah. I would say avoid Gordon Ramsay's restaurants, to be honest, because they will burn a hole in your wallet, even though they have really good steaks.
Yes, yeah, they do.
All right. For the next one, what would you consider as your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Boondock Saints.
The Boondock Saints.
Boondock Saints. If it's not Boondock Saints, I'm a Lord of the Rings nerd. I'm sorry to say, but if you want my favorite, Boondock Saints.
Did they do anything else, or did they just do the one movie with Boondock Saints?
There's two. Boondock Saints 1, Boondock Saints 2, All Saints Day. Although the first one, the one-liners and everything, you could tell them trying to capture that moment again in the second one, but I can't get enough of that one.
Yeah. I think I just remember the first time watching it too. It was almost like, it felt strange to me for some reason, because I guess it was just a lot different than because I was used to Quentin Tarantino and Martin Scorsese sort of films in terms of like how they do their gangsters. So
yes,
a little bit of culture shock.
Yeah. I am a Tarantino fan as well.
Actually, I think I heard someone told me he retired. Did he retire actually?
I understood it as maybe he's got one more inning, but I don't know that I've heard one way definitively or the other.
Well, you know what? If he does that, that would actually be a good idea. Just take a little break, because he always takes breaks between like all the movies he's done, but he always delivers with all of his movies. So if he was to come back and then like win an Academy Award or anything, or any sort of award for like a movie he makes, that'd be such a middle finger to Hollywood, to be honest.
He needs it so bad. He's overdue.
Yeah.
Oh, because he makes mean movies.
Yeah. I still love Pulp Fiction. Still one of my favorite movies.
Yes. There's a robbery.
Everyone get down. This is a robbery. I swear if any of you motherfuckers move, I'm going to lace all you motherfuckers or something like that.
Right.
Actually, I love you too, anybody. That sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man,
It's okay.
It was something like that, yeah. All right. For the next question right here, first off, do you drink at all?
Socially, but I'm not a big drinker.
Okay. What are you drinking socially, I guess? What's your favorite alcoholic drink and non-alcoholic drink?
All right. Non-alcoholic, I'm going to start with Coke and water, Coca-Cola water. Alcoholic, for the past few years, if we play, it's a Jaeger bomb and some form of Coors Light, Coors Original, or a Dos Equis.
Oh, you love Dos Equis. I haven't had that in a while, actually.
Yeah, we played on the cruise ship years ago, and Dos Equis reminds me of some of the import beers that we were having on the cruise ships.
Oh, man. Okay, that's I got to hear, I guess. First off, is there a lot of cruise ships that come into Mobile?
No, actually. They had one port, and there used to be one ship that would call it home. I want to say it was a Carnival Cruise Holiday, the Holiday or something like that, and maybe the Elation later. But no, that's not really why we played on the cruise ship. The cruise ships we played on, we would fly across the world to get on, or I think we were boarding in Port Canaveral at the time. So, yeah, we never had the fortunate. We were never fortunate enough to be able to leave on a cruise ship from our home. I'll put it that way. We always had to drive or fly.
That's a shame. Like I said, you didn't have any bad experiences with them, did you?
You know, yeah.
Mm.
The cruise ship or the flying?
Well, I'd say more the cruise ship, maybe, because I remember it was actually a friend of mine I interviewed who does work on cruise ships. I guess he also plays in a little ensemble band there. And of course, he told me stories about how the waves were all rocking when it got. I don't know if it was like a bad storm or what. It was just like how the current was in general. But I guess.
So I've told one story a few times where we're playing on the Royal Caribbean. I believe it was I forgot which one of the seas, but we were in the High Notes bar on the top of the ship, and I'm looking out and I see rough seas. Don't think about it. I'm on a boat. I've got my sea legs. I'm used to all the movement. And as we're playing, I'm looking at the crowd, and some of them are green, coming out of their shirts and wiping sweat. And don't really think about it. I'm a musician. I'm doing my thing. I'm actually playing bass on the cruise ship. And next thing you know, I get slugged in the back by a 4-foot wide column that I was standing by, because the ship was back and forth so so much. And that was the first time I realized, holy crap, we're in 30-foot seas and the boat is supposed to be still, and it is not. But even still, they got it under control. It wasn't rough, but for a minute or two. I've heard nightmare stories. The rest of the band can tell you some that they had when I wasn't with them. But, you know, I didn't really get sick. Got to see the world. No nightmare stories other than the second you step on that cruise ship as a musician and a man, the women that work there will how do I put it? You're like, you feel like the worm that was thrown out to the chickens. That's kind of scary your first time. Very assertive foreign women where you are a minority amongst everybody else. So it's a culture shock, and they have been looking for fresh meat for a while. I'll put it that way.
You are at their mercy, so to speak.
You know, as much as you are willing to be.
All right, that's it. That's pretty cool. It's good to see you're okay, though, too. But it was something similar to, his name's actually Spiro, by the way, the guy I was talking about earlier. And shout out to Spiro, by the way. And yeah, he'll tell you some of the story, too. I think his was maybe a bit more rockier than I guess your experience was. But he handled it. He took it like a man, though. That's the thing, too. So
yeah, we did. We tried to. Our little boy.
All right, that's all good. Thanks for sharing the story. All right,
you got it.
And this one's actually a separate question, and I should have probably told you about this one. But I guess if you could meet one celebrity, musician, whoever it may be, living or deceased, who would it be and why?
Oh man, I want to say Hendrix, man. Only for I'd like to know what possessed him to wrap that thumb over and grab it in such a way, but still channel, you know, the Albert Kings and the old blues players. And I would really like to talk to Hendrix about his influences, why he did what he did.
Yeah, that would have been awesome too. I think he also would have loved to jam with him too. I'm sure you and a lot of guitar players would have.
Yeah, I'd probably be really intimidated. I'm not going to lie. But, yeah, it just I've always had a thing for blues, and it wasn't until I got, you know, to be an adult, I realized how much blues was in Hendrix. It wasn't all just acid rock and all that good stuff. So as I've gotten older, I would really, as a matter of fact, I'll probably research some of that stuff when I get off here too.
That sounds good. And good choice. May you rest in peace. So, for the last of the fun questions, what's currently your favorite song or a song you've been listening to a good bit recently?
Pneuma by Tool. Only, I wouldn't call it new. It's just the one that I'm listening to lately. And if it's not that, it's, believe it or not, it's old R&B Motown from back in the 50s and 60s. But been jamming on Pneuma a lot lately. Something in it has me wanting to attempt some odd time signatures lately.
Yeah, Tool's a badass band. And actually, which album was that song off of?
Gosh, I can't think of the names, man. I never bought the album. I just download the songs as I like them. I can't remember the album because I've never, God forbid me, I have not bought a Tool album in a while since they started going digital. All I've done is download the music that I like. So as far as the album, you got me dead to rights there.
That's fine too. I think it's always easier like just going on the streaming platforms these days, just like pick a song, for instance, and just not worry about all the other details.
I end up with a lot of that, or, you know, next song. All mine seem to have an algorithm good enough to know what music I dig. So Numa seems to keep popping up lately, which I'm digging.
I'll say the machine knows what Bobby Duhon likes.
Unfortunately.
All right. That's all good, though. All right. So, Bobby, we're down to the last question for my podcast right here. I guess before we jump into it, did you have any questions for me or any final words you want to say before we jump into it?
No, man. Just thanks. Thanks for considering me, hollering at me, letting me talk with you. It's awkward for me to get out and, talk with people I haven't met, but you've been pretty chill, man. So it's all good, brother.
I tried. So, but actually, special thanks to Jason for making this happen too. So
thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
All right. For the last question right here, you might have harped on it a little bit too, but here's how it goes. What sort of message of hope could you give to musicians and people out there as we try to move forward in the post-COVID world?
Keep playing, man. Keep playing, and don't let the depression and the that you feel and see coming from the TV and in life keep you from playing the music you love. Whether it's COVID, whether it's politics, whether it's financial problems, keep playing music. That's my I don't know. At least for me, it keeps me sane.
Absolutely. And as you know from Pulp Fiction, the little quote from Harvey Keitel, spoke like a true prodigy.
I don't know about prodigy.
Hey, it's a start. Hey, everyone's a prodigy in my books. So, all right. So, Bobby, we reached my podcast right here. We talked probably close to an hour right now. But I guess, do you have any final words or anything else you want to say before we close?
No, man. I just appreciate it's nice meeting you, Brian. To everybody out there that is watching, listening, keep playing, man. Do what makes you happy, especially if it's music, because it's going to make other people happy too. And that's about it, man.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah, unfortunately, we have to ask Jason for the social media links. I always like to ask how other people can reach you. But I did reach out to you through Facebook and Messenger too. So I guess, are you specifically on any other social media?
We are on Facebook. You can catch us on YouTube. I know we are on Rumble. If you're wanting all the music players, I wouldn't be able to list them. I only use the one. I'm a Spotify person.
Yeah, sounds good.
But yeah, if there's not too many Saint Victus out there, so if you spelt our name right, you'll find us wherever we are.
I actually tried typing it in. It brought me to Saint Victus. So.
Yes, there is one other place, but if your spelling's correct, you're going to land on us every time.
Well, I think the algorithm just takes me right to it. That's why I was having trouble on Spotify trying to search for Saint Victus. So.
Victi, Vidi, something like that. I can't remember. They seem like good guys.
Yeah, absolutely too. So, but nonetheless, so everyone, my guest today was Bobby Duhon, hailing from Mobile, Alabama. Not Greenbow, Alabama, but close enough. But regardless.
Down the road, man. It's down the road.
Yep. So make sure you guys go hit up on the socials. Go hit this band up. Both Trial by Fire and St. Victus. Make sure you spell St. Victus right. Otherwise, it'll take you to St. Vitus. So we'll see what happens. That's all good. So, Bobby, you stay safe. God bless.
All right, man. Thank you.